Hey, and welcome to CoCast. I'm Martin from Multiply, and with me is my coworker and co-founder Rasmus.
Hey guys,
How are you doing today?
pretty good. Yeah, I haven't had coffee for like almost a week now, which is yeah, it's I should not have coffee. I'm hyper enough as it is, so I feel very calm, relatively. Uh, how are you doing?
I'm great. I just have had coffee, so I feel really calm as well.
Yeah, different constitution, right?
Yes, probably. Uh, so, yeah, thanks for joining us today. Our dear listeners, we're going to keep talking about AI in this episode because it's so top of mind for us, so hugely, enormously interesting right now with everything in the tech space, or a lot of things being focused on AI. Rasmus, what is bubbling for you in the AI space currently?
So I think the most kind of top of mind thing that, but I'm not even sure if it's top of mind. It's kind of more like uh, mind shifting. It's kind of like making me reconsider and like try to rethink a lot of things um, is this next wave of AI that is sort of being teased by some companies now. OpenAI's GPT-4, Adept's ACT, which is like action transformers or something they call it, um, which some people call agentic AI, in the sense that you actually have agency in the AI, which can go and do stuff for you. Uh, so one example is, I think it was Adept that showed it, that they ask their ACT model, can you go find a house in Houston for me that's suitable for a family of four, no more than $600,000, and it figures out how to do that. It just goes on to um, I think it maybe starts with Google or something, and then it finds Redfin, and then it goes in and uses the Redfin web app to search for it. And maybe it even in that process figured out what a good size house is for a family of four. Uh, and I think that's really next level, because what they're trying to do in at least what Adept is trying to do is teach AI to use software. And if it can use software, it can pretty much do anything that we can do in front of a computer. Um, so that's been kind of a mind shift, and I'm not done in my thinking there what it means, but I'm happy to explore it. Does anything come up for you, or like have you read anything about that or thought about it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the venues where a lot of thing is going to move around over the next year or two, because as I see it, the web is basically a text interface to all of humanity or all of society. Everything that is going on has this presence online. Either we post about our lives, or we make our company's homepages as accessible. You can contact anyone, you can order any service online. So we have this text interface to society. And what's going on primarily in AI now, which is a huge shift, is to allow machines to have language, to have access to natural language and understand semantics of written and spoken language. So with the web being a text interface, just as you say, we can see over the next few generations of AI, the emergence of machines that have agency, that can be an assistant to the web. And I think like a benevolent way of looking at this is to this is part of making computers ubiquitous, that over time we will not have this need of a screen in front of us or text interface. We can just have a discussion with the things around us, and they will make happen what we ask them for it. And then in a more sinister scenario, we can see that like this can also be used for controlling human behavior, ordering people around in patterns that are calculated by an artificial intelligence. And I don't think the AI will set their own goals and work in ways to take over the world, but humans certainly are already. So this will definitely be used to scale up people's influence over the world.
Yeah, it's kind of like the ultimate bot, right? If you just look at the bot problem of, say, social media, just to take like a very narrow example, it's like the ultimate bot. If you have one of these models and you can tell it to do things and it can do it at scale, because it can. I mean, that's also pretty interesting with the API economy that has been emerging over the past, like, I don't know, 5, 10 years. That there are whole, companies just built around providing something via an API, which of course these new AI models are as well. They're provided via API to other builders. But giving, and that's something that I read about as well, that you give these new models access to use APIs, and if they can do that at scale, then
Mm.
there's you can instruct it to, hey, post 1 million. I mean, if theoretically, right, I guess Twitter would stop that, right? But create 100,000 accounts and you know uh, write in 100,000 different personalities. It would impersonate like 100,000 different people to write positively or negatively about a topic or spread misinformation about it. But I mean, that's kind of the negative part of it. I also think like what I'm very excited about is you literally have like the like you can instruct an end goal and it figures out the things to do to get there. Um, and if I have my then own assistant that gets to know me, and that, like, if you just take it very simply today, the tools I use, the tools at my disposal, then it can, in theory, do anything that I want it to, and it can even figure out the best ways to do it. Um, Whether it's I mean, any kind of workflow inside a company, right? It can figure out the best way to achieve the desired outcome given the tools at its disposal, and try different ways of doing it, and sort of remove all of that work from me where I'm not needed. So it just really takes it to another level, I think, in terms of like I don't have to instruct it. Like right now, I can tell. I don't know, Stable Diffusion, create an image from these words, right? But that's like a very simple instruction, whereas and it just does one thing. But when I can instruct it to achieve a goal and find the best way to achieve it and use multiple tools and take multiple steps to do so, um, yeah, I don't think my mind has really gotten around to what that would actually mean. But of course, the obvious thing is that it can do a lot of things for me and for us as a society.
So, what are the tools that you would love to see replaced or enhanced with AI that you use currently?
I mean, I think I've seen examples of just the kind of uh, scheduling and calendar stuff. I mean, Calendly was a big step forward in terms of that you can simplify that process. But I think tools going forward, we can literally have our AIs discuss it for us, right? As if we would have assistants,
Mm.
and these AIs will know us, and it will go very quickly. So all that back and forth communication, I think any type of reports, in my case, like investor reporting, I think will be very quickly automated as long as I have the AI has access to the data uh, needed to do the report. Um, I think research. I think Google provides search so that I can do research, but I think AI will be able to do research for me. Like I'll ask it like very specific things, and it can go out and find the information and collect it and deduce the answer for it like from that data set. Yeah, those are like top of mind for me at the moment. And I think also like just in terms of personalized suggestions, based on say all my notes and tasks and all the kind of data I have in my life and work to sort of use that and present it to me when it's relevant to what I'm doing currently, which is something that these new language models are very well suited to do. Yeah, that's top of mind for me. How about you?
I think the major things are tedious for me are things connected to physical stuff, like doing laundry and filling the dishwasher and so on. So those are the maybe the since everything is digital now, it will take some time before those are automated.
Mm,
But as you say, like a report, what is that? It's summarizing a lot of information um, with a specific reader or person in mind when you write the summary, and you know the way they want to read things, and do they want quantified results or metrics, or do they want qualitative reporting of what is going on inside a company or a project. And I think that's where AI can shine as well in near future, that an AI with access to all the information in a company can summarize for every person every morning or every hour, what do I need to know about what
mm,
happened since
mm,
yesterday or
mm,
since this morning, what is going on right now. And the report generated could be personalized to a single person at a single moment, and then be ephemeral, so it's thrown away, doesn't have you don't have to store it, because you can get a new summary over any kind of time period.
mm.
And like just that question, what do I need to know right now? And which could include stuff like the status or mood of my coworkers. Is there someone who seems to be needing help without me noticing, or um, like to augment collaboration and like pick up on mistakes in collaboration, like have an AI that can detect when there's a misunderstanding between two people and clear out that misunderstanding,
Yeah,
would be awesome.
AI and collaboration like should almost be its own episode. I just had like I don't know, um, a thought like abstracting this. It's like I've had this perspective previously that anytime we use something like digitally, something is done for us, then we lose that ability ourselves. It's like using Google Maps actually makes my sense of direction, like makes me lose my sense of direction because I don't have to be spatially aware when I'm driving. I just follow the instruction, right? And I just noticed that this, like in my daughter early today, she got an electric train, like sorry, on for her like little train, and she had like the normal train she pushes around, and she's not interested in the normal train anymore. She just thought like only the one that goes around. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if that's like completely like a good simile to this, but I'm like I think Google sort of made me not like just reflect what you said. Google made me um, like not have to know these things I don't need to know in my daily lives, right? I
Mm.
don't need to know exactly the size of Sweden or like what time that king was born, which is why I don't remember that from school. Maybe because
Mm.
I'm not interested as well. But like what you're describing, like um, on time information would actually even remove the need for me to know, like to remember stuff about what I'm actually doing on a daily basis either. It
Mm.
would literally just like be, I don't need to, like, I will be presented with the information I need right now at all times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think that's like kind of the scary part of the AI future for me is like, will we just be amputating parts of our skill set until we are, like even things that are important to us and makes us I
Mm.
don't know, enjoy life and live life and learn and grow and stuff.
But as I see it, I don't the things that we are amputating are it, that stuff that has been artificially implanted at some point by deficient technology, like us remembering phone numbers. That's we had to do that just because like there was no way of just having the name and call up a
Mm.
name. We need a phone number because the phone was a deficient technology. And with the same thing with roads, that the reason why we need the sense of direction on the road, the road network, is a deficiency of the road itself. I don't think that um, I would I would like to stay where technology was before, at a more
Mm.
deficient level. And if you think about Google Maps, it it can know things in real time about what is going on in other places, take into account in route in the directions they give you, what is the traffic situation on different streets in the city where you're navigating, and that will never be available to you. So you're augmenting your mind rather than amputating your mind. And I think that the the things that we spend time on when we work are actually not the things that I want to spend time on. I want to just interact with other people, relate to other people. That's what I want to do, and create, like have the sense of creation. And I don't think that a lot of the stuff that we do is actually building on top of human skills. It has a lot of work we do has forced us to simulate machines,
Mm.
and it's not too bad to give that back to the machines to do.
Yeah, no, I get that perspective. I think it's very relevant, and it's interesting, kind of when you free up the memory space for phone numbers. What can you instead sort of remember? And when I free up the cognitive effort of first finding my way, and then with autonomous driving, um, from actually driving itself, I can have meaningful conversation with whoever I'm riding with, etc. So it is interesting, like what it will free up, definitely. But
Yeah.
anyhow, like what's is there anything else you've been excited about, like the past week or so in AI that's happening?
Well, one of the promises of GPT-4, the next model coming out of OpenAI, is that it's not only a language model, but that it's a more of a mixed mode model. That it's mixing text and images, or in some other way performs a mixed reality generation rather than only text. And just thinking about that, it's is mind-boggling to me with the opportunities that open up from that.
Tell me what comes to mind, like in terms of opportunities.
Well, the first opportunity is entertainment, to have personalized entertainment. My kids are role playing, and I did the same, like when I was a kid playing Dungeons and Dragons, and to move that role playing into VR, like an real time generated VR world, where either the AI or one of the players is the game master and directs what's going on and what's going to happen for the other players. But all of the players are in an immersive, generated, unlimited surrounding, where you can there's not it's not like a game engine limited to a specific theme, like fantasy or space, but you can actually uh, jump between dimensions or introduce whatever theme you want into the game world. As you can with generative AI, you can go from um, any theme of text to another in an instant. And that's one of the promises, I think, with super personalized entertainment. And then just having a lot of work being automated in ways that we actually cannot foresee from where we are right now. That wherever I do, it can be augmented with AI. I could autocomplete a video of myself rather than just a text that I've written.
Yeah, it's interesting. So two things come to me when you say that. Like the first is with personalized entertainment and coming back to the base purpose of this co-cast, which is co-creation, and also linking in my daughter, which is very top of mind for me. So one thing, like why I'm very, she's just two, so why I'm very reluctant to give her screen time, which of course, you know, many parents feel the same way. But of course, like I haven't avoided it completely, you know, in the car, etc. It's sometimes been necessary. And why I don't like it is because, you know, if I watch the way she is normally, like active, creative, explorative, and then watching that is like, you know, very, almost like a little bit dead and just consuming. And I think that's just like reflecting what you said now. I think that's because if she compares, you know, the like uh, entertained, like the quality of playing with, you know, a fake train or watching a video of a real train, you know, it's just so much more rich. So like the entertainment that is for consumption is much sort of richer than the entertainment that is creative. What happens when you can easily create a rich like experience, like be creative, is that you don't have that kind of the consumption entertainment out competing the creative entertainment anymore. Um,
Yeah, that's an awesome point, that you can be creative at the same time as you're consuming. You can co-create with
yeah,
in a much broader sense with the medium you are exploring as entertainment.
yeah. It's like I don't have to choose between, you know, in her case, like I mean, probably not the best example, but in my own case, then I don't have to choose between, you know, um, telling a story, you know, with my words or watching a movie. I can actually tell a story that is a movie. So it's
Mm.
like as rich, and therefore I can be like much more actively participating with that entertainment. And I think especially when you look at that, doing that together, right? Can you
Mm.
imagine being in a game, like you think role playing, but it happens visually and like in audio and everything, and you're playing, but you're either both or like in some way together
Mm.
co-creating the story. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't, but I think that's the kind of key takeaway for me, that potentially it really enables people to be much more active participants
Mm.
in whatever they do,
Mm.
because the ability to create is so much further democratized than ever before,
Mm.
because everyone can, like pretty much everyone can speak, and that's pretty much all you need in order to instruct these new models, and especially when they become multimodal, like you said, they can, you know, I can instruct it with the words to create something that is rich and has
Mm.
many different senses, I guess, like visually, sound, etc.
Then, yeah, we are due to round off soon. I,
Yeah,
I have one thing to round off with, like an more extreme variant of how to use a multimodal agentic AI, which is, let's say that I have a virtual co-worker, an AI-driven agent who can do things together with me, and I can assign them tasks. Maybe their name would be Steve or something. Let's say that it's Steve, and in order for me to not only like get work done with Steve, but also grow as a person, I could instruct Steve to or get help, like identifying what areas do I want to develop as a person. Maybe I'm always late to meetings, and then Steve can help me with the personal development by also always being late to meetings and like mirroring my behavior. So I see myself in them, and maybe it's not later meetings. Maybe it's something else that my grammar is poor when I'm writing or something. So their
Mm,
grammar is also poor, so I can see, or I tend to fall into victimhood, blaming someone else for
mm.
my own shortcomings, and then Steve will also often fall into victimhood, and I can have a discussion with AI like this is maybe this is not something I want to work on right now. I want to be stay in my victim complex for now, but let's work on the being late to meeting stuff or something like that, like to weave personal development into my daily work just by like having the AI mirror my own deficiencies or the areas I want to develop.
Yeah, it's funny. Like what comes up for me is actually another side of that, which is just like, I mean, now we can have avatars, right? And especially people who are very active online, can their avatar can be like a representation of, sides of themselves, for example, a side of themselves. But if I think about, like, you have Steve and I
Mhm.
have whatever, uh, I don't know, Eric, like our AI assistants are actually mirroring ourselves, then that means that it actually becomes a digital representation avatar of ourselves. So, like, which means they can literally
Mm.
interact for our sake.
Yes.
So, for example, figuring out what we're going to do.
Mm.
Okay, we're going to hang out. We or they have decided that we're going to hang out Friday night. What should we do? And then they actually have that discussion.
Yes.
And we show up, but we don't know what's going to happen. They just tell us be there. Then, oh, that's so nuts though, because then you really got to trust that AI. But anyhow, it's something that comes like it's very interesting. Like the more like these get to know us, the more they can um, help us, grow or figure things out. But
Mm.
also they can help, like they can act on our behalf, which I think is like really interesting with this next agentic wave. I mean, when I get to self-driving, I will trust that it will have the agencies to drive for me, right? That will
Mm.
take a while before I let go of the wheel. But when I do, I'm going to be like, yeah, it just does it for me. I
Yeah.
think that might come to many areas of our lives, that we just start trusting potentially these, yeah, these agentic models, these
Mm.
uh, representations of ourselves to do things for us.
Mm.
Um, and
Yes.
then I guess we're just going to keep what we want to do, which was your point from earlier.
Mm. And that's where I think it's important that we not only replace the things that we are aware of that we are failing to do or failing to give energy. Like I really don't want to drive the car, it should be driving itself. But
Yeah.
where does collaboration break down, or where could I improve as a person in the way I relate to others, or
Mm.
where can I improve um, my skills of writing and so on. I think that's where technology can augment things, can know things, and see patterns that are hidden
Mm.
to humans.
Yeah, and I just imagine that. I mean, now we're going to round off, but imagine just like in a small team, or like that AI in some form is keeping track of, everyone's feeling good, and everyone's, understanding the goal of the team in the same way, and it sort of just lets you know if you're off track, or if someone needs a hug or whatever. And then if you think about scaling that up, you could really have large scale information about people in society, and if you can agree on the goals as society, it can literally help you sort of steer there and get there, because using that amount of data is of course impossible for a human being. Anyhow, I think that might I'm not sure if that's a good ending. Do you have a good ending?
No, I think when I look back on what talked about the past half an hour, it's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen. I think that speaks to our excitement and just how mind-boggling it is to look into the future now, and it's the near future when things are moving so fast into the completely unknown. And I think that's a good point to end. I the complete unknown ahead of us.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds great. Cool. Thanks for today, Martin.
Thank you, Rasmus. And thanks to our listeners. Tune in next episode.